Macho John Madden Juanito is what they call me in Mexico. It means Johnny, which was my favorite childhood nickname. And I was in Mexico from March 13th of 23 to May 3rd of 25, at which point I was kidnapped from Mexico, not by the cartels, but by a medical emergency. And the U.S. consulate in Playa del Carmen, Cancun, helped me get back to the U.S. And I was there for 9 months and just came back about 2 weeks ago. I guess 3 weeks ago now. And I'm so happy to be back, unbelievably happy to be back. And so I've been kidnapped by love. 6 years ago, I had a huge spiritual experience that left me more full of love than ever before. A guy who had been described by a very close friend years before as loving everybody. And I replied to her, how do you know that? I don't even know that. What makes you think that's true? I'm certainly aware of ways I'm critical and judgmental. But over time, it's gotten really clear that that's my essence, and it's all of our essence. So I'm not any different than anybody else. I just suffered long enough that life said, let's shoot you out of a slingshot after 30 years of pretty intense emotional suffering and let you just dance from now on. Not that sometimes haven't been hard, but I'm almost never sad. And I have so much love I don't know what to do with it. My theme song that I dance to almost every day is, now that we found love, what are we gonna do with it? And maybe the place on the planet that's best for me to be found by love is El Diamante, a little pueblo of 400 people. I stumbled in there, even having woken up, even having been in Mexico for several months, a very battered man, June 14th of 23, having suffered the devastating loss of 2 gorgeous dogs in 3 days. I'm not going to tell that story here. I haven't told it to any person live ever in the time since. I know I have to, and I will soon. But I was beaten, and I got adopted by a wonderful extended family, 3 nuclear families that ran the O'Reilly restaurant. Grandma O'Reilly, Rosie ran the place, and everybody pitched in. And my car broke down a mile north of there, and I got towed in by a kid, 27-year-old kid, that Miguel from that family who runs the hotel said to me, he's the best mechanic in town. Trust him. Well, it took him 3 months to get my car on the road. He did a couple of very expensive repairs and finally threw the whole thing out and said, we have to get you a new engine, all of which was incredibly cheaper than it would have been in the U.S., but it might have been done in a couple of weeks in the U.S. But I was meant to be there. That family was so healing for me. So when I had the chance to go back to Mexico recently, I made that my first stop. It hadn't been my first stop the first time around. But if I was to go someplace to heal from all my experiences in the U.S. and get back to what Mexico stands for me, which is enchantment and is love and is mystery, El Diamante was the place to do it. So about a week into being there, it's a strip of restaurants. There's like 9 restaurants in El Diamante, and none of them makes a living. Way too many restaurants in one place. And essentially no international tourists go there. They rely on truck traffic. And as a result, gringos are not known to be ugly Americans because they haven't even seen gringos, mostly. And some of them have worked in the U.S., some of them have some English. In my experience, the first time around and this time around, when many of them recognized me from the last time around, is that they're curious, they want to engage. The old guy the other day who I thought was ignoring me was actually digging deep to come up with some English, and I was a few steps beyond him when he said, hey, how you doing? They want. It's amazing. It's not like that everywhere in Mexico for good reason, because I've seen some real ugly American tourists in other places, arrogant, entitled, self-important. And I ain't. I'm not any of those things. So they like me for that. So El Diamante was a place where I experienced tremendous love. And what happened for me there was, for the first time ever, I really, really, really got it that I deserved it. In a way I never had experienced before, I really came to know that I'm a deeply good man, which is something that it's part of the wake-up process for all of us, is that that's our core, that's who we really are. So, walking down the street in El Diamante, lots of people greet me. And there are 2 restaurants on the main drag where, as I walk by, some young woman in each place would yell out, "Hi! Hi! Hi!" And one of them in the first restaurant, when I ignored her, I'd say hi back and that's it. She followed me around to the side door and said, "Hey, come back," in Spanish. "Come back, who are you?" And we began a 2-week, very intense courtship process. I was just floored by her beauty and her intelligence and humor and what a great mom she is and what a great worker. But just about a week ago, I realized she's sure giving you lots of encouragement, lots of positive signals. Her whole family's crazy about you. I even looked up on AI about Mexican courtship and it said you're right on track, the mom loves you, etc. But what I got was, compared with a new friend, my new landlord, who's in a happy relationship but so forthcoming with text messages